Hello, everyone. My name is Renee Sansom Briscoe, and I work for the Department of Rehabilitation Services. Good to see some of your faces again. Hi, Leslie. Um, so today we're going to talk about inspiring change through collaboration. As I was listening to the other um, sessions earlier, a lot of that word keeps coming up. Collaboration. What does that look like? How do we maintain it? So there's a few things that I would like to discuss today. Uh, let's see. So what to expect? Again, today we're just going to talk about creativity and collaboration and possibilities of opening doors with DRS in the future and beyond for the transition age youth and adults. I have some examples and maybe I don't know about interactive discussion because of timelines, but just we can maybe just be thinking about it and just an outline of DRS services. So key takeaways, I really just want to talk about and hope that you understand how creativity drives innovation. And, we talked about it just a minute ago about it's okay, it's good to step out and have all those exploration ideas, but then follow up and make sure that you're following through and know who your partners are. So talking about gaining tools to spark culture of possibility, feeling inspired. I hope that you leave with this session at least inspired to be more inclusive for students with disabilities. In my case, students, but DRS serves all the way up to adults. So where creativity meets innovation. So um, re-imaging service delivery. Oh Lord, I pushed the wrong button. Our work is complex, meaningful, and impactful. We support individuals with diverse needs, goals, and barriers. Traditional approaches don't always meet today's challenges, right? So we're going to talk about creativity and how it allows us to think a little differently, and collaboration allows us to work smarter. When when creativity and collaboration come together, we can improve services. We can strengthen our partnerships. We can expand employment and community opportunities. Number one there I have is reimaging service delivery. And COVID taught us this, but a lot of our people are still in COVID mind, and offering virtual appointments has been amazing for some of my students, even my stepson, being able to go to the psychologist or psychiatrist on, virtually has really helped out his staff because they don't have to take him all the time. Just being flexible with services, with scheduling and services. We don't always hear that there's flexibility in the workplace. So innovation, increased access to rural clients, reduce no-shows, and it has better engagement when you talk about giving them some kind of leeway, right? Customizing employment solutions. I don't know if anyone has heard about customized employment, but we're talking about thinking beyond just the typical job placement where you're literally creating a job for somebody. Maybe there's someone in the office that's doing the job of four people and can't keep up, but you can take that job and create different pieces of it to make it a separate job that someone else could take over, one that may not have the higher functioning abilities as this other person, but they can do these things. So just think about you know um, carving. I'm going to, in another slide, use the same word, but think about that, carving a job out kind of, and working with an employer to carve out a job. It's hard because they don't understand what you're talking about. But when you say, hey, if you, like I just mentioned, you have somebody that's overworked and they're not getting caught up, let's make this other section a piece of that job, and that way they can be a separate job. And it's usually we still like to do it based on clients' abilities and their interest. So we don't want to deter them. Like we don't want anyone to do what they don't want to do, right? And building non-traditional partnerships. When I say non-traditional, I'm talking about, like, for example, me partnering with Yolanda Scott at Loom to do a lot of things. That's kind of an untraditional thing because we've never done it. And that's super amazing. And I love Yolanda's heart, and her professionalism is superb. So, but those innovation, expanded trainings, employment, support opportunities, reach out to local libraries, your gyms, your small businesses. We, as at DRS, get a lot more um, positivity from our small businesses in the state because, when you go to, and I'm not knocking Michael's at all, it's just an example I have. When you go to Michael's and you want to work a student for summer, you got to go through corporate, you got to get $1 million or $5 million thing. Now, policy for them to work, and you're like, oh my God, we're talking about 25 hours a week. So, think of those small businesses to create those inclusive work experiences. If you have a friend that owns a restaurant, talk to them about that, especially in our summer programs. Encouraging frontline ideas. I used to be horrible about um, I've always been a supervisor. Well, not always, but I've been a supervisor for a while. And I used to think my idea is always better, and I know better. But that's not true. I know nothing. I know that my staff know way more than I do because they're in the field and they're actually hands on the ground, right? Boots on the ground. So inviting staff ideas and doing experimentations, pilot projects is my favorite thing. I think someone said it earlier. Um, Doing that gives you the opportunity to be flexible and explore a little beyond what your norm is, right? And with DRS, that's how you fix the contract moving forward, and you can expand and tweak and move on. But my team does the best work when we get together and we just sit and brainstorm, and just it leads to simple processes. It gives us good ideas, and then it sometimes can save time and reduce errors, because everybody's like, well, if you do it this way. And so I've learned a lot from my team about how to be more open-minded and to let them, because they're the ones talking to the students, the parents, the teachers, let them say, and, let me know, well, I think this would be better because Lord knows I don't know. So that's one thing that being a supervisor has taught me, is give people the opportunity. Even if you have a student in your group that you're doing that you're in a part of, like at the Down Syndrome Association for Central Oklahoma, I'm a board member, and we have a advocate on our board, and I think that's really awesome because he contributes a lot, because he's the one having to deal with getting a job. He's the one having to deal with the Social Security office. He's the one having to go through all that. And so helping us understand is really, really awesome and really powerful. So creativity driving innovation. Like, man, I can't tell you how many innovative things that just Yolanda and I've come up with in the last, I don't know, 5 years, just because of creativity. One day, Judy Goldson and I just sat around and we had made like 5 pages of giant pages of ideas. And then we went to Yolanda and said, hey, well, let's talk. And then she was like, oh, I love it. And then she gave her creativity and her innovative ideas. And then that's where it started. So this was supposed to be the interaction part, but just think about these questions like, have you used your creativity to drive innovation at work? Did you face any challenges? I'm sure you did, because there are many. And if you did they help? How did you help move things forward? And what was the outcome? Collaboration and teamwork. Collaboration, how has collaboration helped you solve a difficult problem? Who did you partner with? What made the collaboration successful, and what did you learn? So strengthening collaboration across DRS, practical strategies for teamwork and community partnerships. This is literally just my unit. This is not like across the board, but I wanted to express, what we do. So, as we mentioned, collaboration strengths outcomes because no single role agency or partner can do the work alone. And you might think you can, but it's not going to be effective. When we collaborate effectively, the services are more coordinated, individuals receive better support, employers gain confidence, communities become stronger, collaboration builds trust, shared responsibility, and a collective success. So when we complete best step, more than 5 of you on this call are going to, receive also success from that. And that's what it's all about. So cross team meetings, shared goals, strength-based roles, community mapping, which is horrible, but it's good for you. Employer co-design, cross training, and roundtables. Those are things that my unit specifically that we kind of do throughout the year. And cross-team collaboration meetings. I think this is vitally important. We actually have a cross-team collaboration meeting with DDS every month at DRS. And I can't tell you how successful that's been because it's allowing DDS to even staff a case with us, and we can talk about, are they going to be, eligible for DRS? Are they ready to work? How can we move forward to get this person a job? Like that's our main goal. So how can we do that? I used to meet with Department of Mental Health often, and we had those cross-team collaboration meetings, but people changed and it kind of fell out. But it was really good because it just helps you create some goal-focused touch points across departments. Even within your own office, it's nice to have. And obviously with transition, we do that across the state. But having monthly meetings every month, DRS Transition has a counselor tech check-in meeting, and that's what it's for, is, just talking about what's up, what's coming up, what do you need what do you need to know? Is there anything that you need to be trained on? We try to do some motivation in there. So I highly recommend these cross-team collaboration meetings, just because it strengthens outcomes and increases efficiency within all of the departments. Shared goal setting, obviously important. It's hard because your department might think that this is the best, goal to have, and then transitions like, well, that doesn't matter to us. This matters to us. So coming together and establishing common objectives across the team and partners is huge. Like it's a very difficult thing to do. I love when we have our Oklahoma Rehabilitation Council meetings and the transition committee, and we're talking about common objectives because higher ed may have this idea, and OSDE has this idea, and DRS has this, and then we all just brainstorm, and together we can come up with the shared goal, and that's really cool to watch that blossom. Example, joint employment placement goals between DRS counselors and community employment providers. Do you think we butt heads on that? Yeah. Do you think parents butt heads with us on what they think their kid can do in the community? Absolutely. So, again, sitting down and just collaboration and communication and talking to each other about the realities of what we're looking at. And then, of course, it aligns efforts and improves client success. That's what we're here for, is client success. The strength-based assessments in my group, my team, I always do a personality test, and then we do the extrovert introvert test because I think it's important. In fact, I kind of do it during the interview because I know what we have as a group. We have one of each color, and we have two yellows. So I think we're good in that area because there's not so many of the same personality. So that's important to me, to have those strengths within teams. And then you assign those duties to the staff as you see fit according to their strengths, and you can really have a wonderful team. Now, I'm biased, I get that, but I think I have the best team in Oklahoma. So there's that. And I saw Jeff's on here. So Jeff, hello. How does what's the impact of doing strength-based team assignments? Well, it increases productivity and definitely job satisfaction because you know who you can go to. When I have a problem with a system problem within our DRS transition unit, I go to Chris Compton. He's going to know the answer. If I have a policy question, I'm going to go to Kevin Randall. I know he knows the answer. So, you just have you need to have those specific strengths and put those strengths with that employer that fit them the best. These are online free tests. You don't have to pay for them. Now, they're not the greatest thing because you don't get the whole thing, but it gives you an idea. And is anyone, just curious, anyone ever done these with your teams? The personality test or the extrovert introvert? It's really fun. There's a class at DRS that I took a long time ago, and if you know me well enough, you probably know that I'm an extrovert and I'm extreme orange. So that's very aggressive to a lot of people. So um, I've come sometimes I come off as very aggressive. So yeah, some people don't like that, but that's okay. I'm the only one in our group that's an orange, and that's good. You can't have two oranges in the same team. Community partnership mapping. Like I mentioned before, this is horrible. It's awful to go through. But let me tell you, when you get it done and you figure out the ending and like the end of it and how you identify different partners that you are not engaged with, then it really brings to life the fact that you need to do better, right? We need to be reaching out to more and we need to be building more relationships. So it just kind of teaches you that, oh, you know what? We haven't partnered with this library, and they told me that they help with toothbrushes and toothpaste packets. Well, that could be useful for something that we do. So maybe we should partner with it. Like, and then it just grows and grows and grows. So encourage participants to introduce themselves and connect. I say participants, us as well. Keep energy high and set that collaborative tone as if you want to collaborate and not just demand, right? I need you to do this, when it could be as easy as how can we partner so that we can both be successful to the same demographic. The impact is it expands training opportunities. We've done this many times at DRS, and someone will say, I don't know anything about DRS. Can you come and talk to us? Well, that's an opportunity, right? It's a training opportunity, especially for parents. I get all the time about, I don't know about DRS. Can you tell me? And then they're a school teacher at a middle school, and then it turns into, can you come on Tuesday night to this middle school and talk to all the teachers about DRS? Whoa, just because I offered, I was nice and collaborative is why they want to do it. And then obviously, it just helps the community in general and, support opportunities for other people with and without disabilities. But in my case, I'm talking about students with disabilities. So employer co-design, what is it? So this is new to me, this word, and I've always heard of it differently, but it's a collaborative approach in which employers actively partner with education, workforce, community organizations, and they jointly design programs or services, curriculum, and any other talent pipelines. So it could be like a project search with DRS or a CERT culinary or even our summer program, Best Step. It's, an example I have here is employers and healthcare partner with a community college and workforce agency to co-design a patient care technician pathway because they did a study and the labor market said that there is a high need for patient care technicians. So let's come together and figure out how we can do that. Now, I'm pretty sure that's what career techs do already. But it's just an opportunity, and it's some way to think outside the box, shaping curriculum, having those clinicals possibly, and then it resulted in a streamlined pipeline, for our workforce or any of those. So that is what employer code design is, specifically. See if I had any notes. And then a high impact strategy is to co-create employment roles with businesses. Like we want to do a project search in somewhere that's not ever been done before. And so we're trying to figure out what would those roles look like there and how could we make that happen. That's kind of like an employer co-design. I'm going to talk about project search here in a minute. Is it already 10:15? My goodness. Examples, job carving with local employers, onboarding and pre-employment training, work-based learning projects, and career exploration activities. And then what's the impact? It can create inclusive employment and improves retention. Cross training and job shadowing. Job shadowing is one of the best things that I've ever heard of. It's really awesome to go and, job shadow people so that you know what if you like it or not. Like every February 1st is job shadow day or something like that, and we're gonna try to implement it the next year and then moving forward for our students. But just for them to come to your office and see what you do all day. And then they could be like, God, I hate that. Or, maybe they want to be a nurse and you take them in there and they're like, okay, I don't want to faint if I saw blood. I can't do that. Or maybe they don't want to sit at a desk all day. Like you don't know until you go in there. And I would much rather have a job shadow opportunity than for them to go to work and then quit day 3 because I didn't like it. Right. So hopefully, again, we're going to try to revamp that coming up next February so that our students across the state can get some job shadow opportunities. And then that just improves collaboration and service coordination with better understanding of workplace challenges and improved communication with employment outcomes. Community roundtables, these are awesome also. I can't remember what we called them at the mental health place. There was something they called them, but I can't remember. But this is where all of you come together and you just brainstorm, and you have quarterly meetings or community partner shared meetings, and you're literally just talking about what your needs are, and that can strengthen your trust and collaboration. The key word is community partners. Like that is so important to keep your partners, in the mix of what's happening. And building a culture of possibility. So within DRS, we really do try to do all these things and have a strength-based mindset, focus on strengths, flexible approaches to work, where we're talking about adaptive environment, schedules and methods, inclusive practices, to have accessible environments, turning challenges into opportunities. So creating creative problem solving, collaborative partnerships, working together across roles and organizations, learning through experience, where we are providing hands-on opportunities, celebrating growth and progress. Any progress is worth celebrating. So you don't have to just be successfully closed for 90 days to be like, yeah, you did it. I mean, celebrate them on day 1, hey, you finished first day. That's exciting. Anything. Innovation and experimentation, encouraging learning and improving, right? Leadership modeling, demonstrating belief in possibility. That's very important. If you don't believe in the people that you work for or with, they don't believe in themselves. So it's important to demonstrate that belief so that they can feel successful too. And then just practical examples of promoting independence, inclusion, and community participation, and supporting independent skill development, inclusive hiring practices. We've talked about work experience and community-based learning, and then social and civic engagement opportunities, community events, go to things, get involved, go to things, go to Disability Awareness Day, find somebody you don't know. That's next Tuesday at the Oklahoma History Center, by the way. There's going to be 900 people there. So go there and find somebody that you don't know. How can you partner with DRS in this collaborative mindset? We have a ton of information that I could go over, and I'm not going to have enough time to finish all of it, but these are just part of it. Is pre-employment transition services, where students who are DRS clients or potentially eligible for DRS services can receive services at the age of 14 to 21. We have summer programs. Yesterday was our application deadline. Yolanda, close your ears. We had 900 applications. What? 903 to be exact, but who's counting? So yeah, we'll have a discussion soon. So we're paying those students to go to work, and then they have a 1 week of instruction. Our STEM camp, where they're learning about technology, engineering, and math, and all those other things. They're doing computers and they're making necklaces and buttons and mouse pads. And I mean, you name it, they're doing it. We have school work study within the schools where the school pays the student. DRS reimburses the school. We have work adjustment training where our lower level functioning students go out in the community and work with the job coach. And DRS is reimbursing the job coaching hours for that. Project Search is a unpaid 9-month internship where our students get 9 months of free hands-on experience, right? But DRS is reimbursing the host business if they're the ones that provide the job coach or the vendor. We are reimbursing them for their job coaching hours. So usually it's the hospital or the hotel. Sometimes it's the school. Just depends on the situation and how it's ran. But yeah, DRS is reimbursing for that. And then we also have the OSU IDD self-determination training that is at OSU. And this is literally all I talked about. I'm just skipping through. They're just in more detail, but it's all downloaded on Ahuva. But after high school, we also focus on the young adult programs with the Riverhawks program at NSU, Sooner Works at OU, Opportunity Orange at OSU, and USAO Neil Wentz Center for Neurodiversity. And these are those 4-year post-secondary certificate programs, IPSE, Inclusive Post-Secondary Education Programs. And DRS can support those students up to $5,000 a semester based on basic living requirements, obviously. So this is so exciting that DRS is able to assist beyond high school, right? And then in this area where they're only getting a certificate, I'm really excited to be able to do that. We have CERT Culinary in Tulsa where they're also going through a program. They're not getting paid until the end when they get placed at a job that is doing culinary arts. So that's so exciting. It's 18 to 24-year-olds. And then OU Spark 360 is a program at OU, and it's specifically for our neurodiverse students, IDD students. They're going to get and they have to be seeking a degree here, but they're going to get that support on campus, and that's so amazing that we're able to do that. So in final, I just want to say, take action, apply creative thinking to your daily challenges every day. Apply it. Build stronger partnerships, encourage teamwork and shared problem solving, lead by example in fostering innovation, and together we'll reimagine what's possible when we connect, create, and inspire. So let's spark opportunity and inspire meaningful change. So you can reflect. We have like 1 minute left, I think. You can reflect on this. What is one idea you'll apply right away? Who can you collaborate with to spark change? And what new opportunity are you inspired to explore? So thank you for today. I appreciate it. Fast and Furious. This is on the Whova app, so feel free to download. There's some example collaboration guides that I've also created. So feel free to download those if you have questions. My email address is up, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Renee. I appreciate it. All right, we're going to have a break. And next up after our break is going to be Dare to Disrupt with Brittany Lee.